All right, I'm good now. I'm grab some wine here. All right. So, in that FinTwit world, everything was we need a pullback. A pullback's great. It's wonderful. Didn't feel too wonderful today, but that's where everybody was coming down the line at that we needed a pullback. And as you can see right here, let me zoom this in for you. Green is good, red is bad. And you can see we're coming off the oversold. And you can see right there we made the crossover today. Let me break it down about 6 months. So you can see it really clearly right here. NASI got the hook back up right here, and then we've got a little follow through, crossed through the average today, and got back above the minus 30 oversold line. That's usually, as you can see here, when you look at S&P 500 down here, pretty good thing. I'll bring it back to the year and a half. It was on year where I've been tracking it. So for the last year, and as you can see, well, there we go. Now you can see it. So when we cross right here, that's usually a good thing for the S&P 500. Cross right here, it's usually a good thing. Didn't last very long that time. Cross right here, usually pretty good. It was a great one. Cross right here, pretty good one. Cross right here, and it wasn't a great one. It did work. Oh, that is incorrect. I flipped from the red. I'm sorry. Flipped the red to green. Cross right here, and it was a good one. And then right here, let's see if it's another good one. So we've had several of those over the past year and a half, and it's been pretty good. So let's see how this plays out. So from that context, yeah, a little pullback today was a buying opportunity. Maybe I didn't feel too good about it, but we'll see. And yeah. All right. And then McClellan oscillator, as noted in the Phat-plan, we had hit this area up here where we're a bit overbought. And as you can see, we're pulling back. And on a shorter term time frame look, that's not a great thing. Again, let me put the crossbars back on it. That generally, if you look at the tracking, so what we're looking at is when we start turning red up here. So let me take it off real quick to show you. So right here, you see the red lines. That's what I'm talking about. So when it turns these red lines going down, the average, the line starts turning down. Okay, that's what you're looking at right here. I'm not talking about the red shading necessarily, but it starts from when it starts coming off that peak. And so here, are we coming off that peak? And it was a close, we just barely got up in there. But this one, same effect. And what I'm pointing out to you is on a shorter time frame, it's not a great thing. You can see here price going down, coming off that peak, price going down, coming off that peak, price kind of chopping around, but a lot of gap downs in there. This is for that heading for the April lows situation. And then here coming off the peak, it actually pushed through it. And that was your divergence. This is where the change up occurred. And this was very bullish, right? So we had this divergence occur and it continued, frankly, for quite a while. Same thing here. We had a divergence occur. It's been a hell of a run, right? So is this time different? Is it going to stay with that divergence and continue up, or is it going to fall back to its natural form? We'll see how that plays out. And then we've got a really nice gap showing right here. This is a concern. This, most gaps tend to fill, and this one has never filled. And, it's only a couple days old, but the point is most gaps tend to fill. So if we lose this level right here tomorrow, right there, certainly a backfill to this level around 675, 670, excuse me, somewhere around 670 on SPX, SP 500 would be, could be expected. All right. So just keep that in mind. If we lose this key level that's previously drawn, has been tested a couple of times right here, it would not be unexpected to come back. Now, this was that very powerful move, and here was a little gap bounce. Let me back it out 15 days so you can see it. Now that you got an idea what we're looking at. So we had this huge gap, and then we bounced right off that little gap right there where we filled it. This was very volatile. Remember, VIX was going crazy. And then here we came in, we skipped off of it. And then we had this little gap, and it was a lot of people are calling this the lockout rally potentially. So it's only been 2 days, but it could be a lockout rally from here on up, especially if it doesn't. And that's the whole point of a lockout, if it doesn't come back and fill that gap. And that's what you want to keep eyes on. If we lose this key level right here, it's going to want to tend to fill that gap. And it may stall out right here, but it's going to fill that gap. If we hold this level, then obviously you want to see it clear back through this area right here and continue on to higher highs. We'll see. It's just something to monitor. You set your alerts on it so that you can watch that as it plays out. It's a very interesting chart, I find. Those little intraday gaps. This one's not important right now. I'll tell you, the David Keller model is actually about to cross over short term again. That doesn't really have impact until you get the midterm, medium term cross down. When that happens, as you can see, it's pretty effective at you want to, risk off type situation. But that hasn't occurred, not even close, actually. And then, so looking at the RSI, when we cross the midpoint, that's usually a pretty good thing. Not as good as, of course, coming off the very bottom longer term, but it is pretty good. And you don't know when the end's going to be, but it's definitely above 50, and that's a good thing. As long as it stays above 50, you can see when it crosses below 50 is the problem, like right here, when you cross below. But right now it's above 50, and it took a little dip today, but that's still bullish. It's above the 50. That's where you want to be. RSP is noted in the Phat-plan. We had a little problem today. We hit that key level previously identified. You can see it right there. So that combined with the fact that our NASI was up, lost my train of thought. Our NAMO was up here. That combined with that, when you go back down here, and you see that you have the weighted banging up against that key level, that was a potential caution sign. And today you can see we hooked down. We didn't even make it back with the equal weight back there on the newer Dow theory. 10-year crossed back over the 50 today. I think that's of note. Didn't see a lot of FinTwit pointing that out, but that TNX was strong today, very strong. 10-year was very strong, gapped up, and then held its gap up, and in fact held above the 50-day. That's not good for growth plays. And then high yield spikes. So spreads, spikes, same thing really. Very interesting cross today. And in fact, we need to change that to yellow. And that is usually a very good sign. So we've got some mixed signals out there, as they say, tonight. This one is pretty bullish. That's weird. Pretty bullish. I just want to get this fixed now so I don't forget. Oh, hold on. Thought that was it. The color was off. All right. It's hard to do this while I'm talking, I guess. You wouldn't think that would be that difficult. Well, I'm going to leave it there to remind me to fix it. It's obviously the wrong color, but I'm going to keep it there for now. I know you don't want to see me trying to draw like crayons right here, but you can see the cross. And as you go back, I'll show you easy way to look at it. So of course, over here, very good, very good, very good. This is the S&P 500 down here on the bottom. And this vertical line, the purpose of so you can kind of line up where when you cross back above and it's inverted, you can see how good it is. It's a very good indicator when we're crossed above. And it's not perfect. I mean, it goes up here and then it fails. But in general, most of the time, more times than not, we're going in a general direction of up. And so pretty good right there. And the point is, we got the cross back up right here. So bullish sign, no doubt about that. Currencies and commodities. So Dixie, we already kind of played that, right? We played the move on gold and got a little overcrowded. Has a way of shaking people out, right? The people that bought in at the top, you hear people talk about that all the time. Right here, we're above the 50 levels, and that's good. Breadth, that was just basically another measure of breadth. But here we have it on the chart, and you can see again, we're still above those 50-day moving averages, and that is great. That's what you want to see. We want to see that 50-day start to turn back up. Right now it's declining, so it's not as bullish as like right here, where it's a rising 50-day and all movers, that's extremely bullish. That's coming off those April lows. This was April right here. And then coming off those April lows, we had the rising 50-day and the moving averages above it. So that was pretty cool. Advance and declining lines above it. Looking good there. Base in there. Looking good there, looking good there. S&P 500. So there's again, just it all goes. That's why you make those charts, you make those notes, that previously drawn level right there. And look at price just bang right off of it and pull back. So it's just building up for that move to higher highs. That's at SPY. The VIX did turn back up today. What we don't want to see is it go back, of course, above this 50 moving average. And that's what these green shaded areas are, or when these spikes that occur. Every one of them occurs first. Price moves above, the VIX moves above the 50-day. And then when the spike occurs, I just put it as it turns down. I put that on there. And it's just been an excellent way to get long for the past year. It hasn't historically always been that way, but right now it has been money, basically. Every time that VIX spikes above 20, you just find those stocks with relative strength, get long and ride. Move versus VIX. Bull bear spread. Don't worry too much about all that stuff. NAM exposure, nothing there yet. All right, let's look at our offensive versus defensive. And what we have here is a little sideways today. A little 50-50 battle, growth versus defensive, which you kind of saw that play out in the charts today. Everything just kind of meh type situation. XLK sing one out today, said, I want to take back leadership. Really kind of surprised me right there. Nice move by XLK in terms of relative strength versus SPY. And then right here, just moving sideways with XLC and then moving a little bit up on consumer discretionary, and that probably was some of that Thanksgiving Day sales effects. You can see right there's barely turning up, but I will note that it's off of a key level. In fact, let me zoom that in a little bit so you can see it. I mean, this is a 2-year chart. Let's go down 6 months. You see right there, we turned up a little bit today. So that's of note. Now, I mean, you can see right here, get that off. You can see right here, XLK clearly outperforming right now versus these three, but that was a nice turn up by XLY, and that's what we want to see to get growth going again. Have XLY join XLK, and then have XLC break this got a nice little wedging area kind of forming up right there. That's something to keep an eye on. Oh, you can't see the color. There we go. Right there. Got a little wedge forming. Nice one too, symmetrical. So if we get this thing to pop higher tomorrow, so keep your eyes on XLC early in the morning. And if XLC breaks up early in the morning, that means we're going to be joining XLY, who joined XLK. We could see a return of growth moving back on up. That's interesting. That'd be fun to watch that play out. Put this back on 2 months, 2 years. Uh-oh. Left me on. That's all right. I can move back later. XLI. So right here, we're looking at the value sectors. And when we look at the value, we see that they took a dive today. Coming into a key level. Just want to see it hold that and move out sideways. We got a potential here, financials, potential trend line break. That's a 3-tapper right there. So we've got 3 taps on the trend line. So that's a good trend line. XLF, potential breakout tomorrow. The regional banks did really well today. I know that just from looking earlier. XLF, not so much. Materials, kind of hanging in there. And then XLE, trying to make a move again. A little 3-tapper here. Could see a big move by XLE. It's kind of like gearing up like it wants to, but hasn't quite done the deal yet. Oh, Lord have mercy. The wrong button. There we go. And then defensives kind of took a dump today right here on XLU. I was long SRE with a crap ton of money, but I managed to get out even and took profits before that. But it kind of broke this little range right here. That's concerning. You can see it right there breaking that previously marked range. And the same thing here with staples. Just kind of moving sideways. Thought we would saw a bigger move by defensives today if that's what we were going to do as far as any kind of shifting of money, but that's not what occurred. That's the bottom line. SMH versus SPY. I mean, it's above that 50, and that's always a good thing. You can see that prior versus compared with SPY. And that's always a good thing. Semis lead the way on the best moves in the market, and that's what we have there. All right, let's go ahead and go to our Mogul and ETFs. Let's check See what we got here. Starting with the Arkansas family. Let's see if we got any kind of change up on that. Okay, so we're getting a little more of a dip turn by those bios and healths. We're still not seeing an arc, but look at MSOS had a plus 10% day today. But we're still not seeing a move. Now remember, this is just one day, all right, on these from node to arrow right here. But it does look like we're starting to see some kind of a little bit of a rollover look, a dip buy look on those bios and health plays. ARC family still pointing the wrong direction though. Let's go to our tech and semis. Yeah, we're still going the wrong direction. I mean, again, this is only one day from node to arrow, but they are definitely going the wrong way. We're looking for who the first one is. It's going to show out. And, what I will say is like, so for example, on socks, it's hard to see those nodes on there, I know, but here's the node and it's shorter than these guys. So it's slowing down faster, which is a good thing. Should try to make a turn. We want to see a counterclockwise turn this way. That would be very strong. Cyber and Hack didn't do, they were in nice little coils and broke down. So I expect them to continue lower. Energy and commodities. We'll get some turnbacks. Yeah, look at GDX crossing into the weekend. It's time to cool off a little bit. Silver coming in, a little dip. Gold, all these guys losing their relative strength today. So, or actually, relative strength's not bad. Coming to the right, price is them dropping a little bit. So, price momentum is starting to weigh a little bit. USO going the wrong way. XOP going the wrong way. XLE going the wrong way right now. Let's check financials here. Okay, so XLF trying to make that move. Where's Cree? Here's Cree with a pretty nice move today, but again, still in the lagging quadrant. XLRE was the one I had my eyes on. Like I said on yesterday, could take it a week, could take it 2 weeks, a couple of days. I mean, you just got to keep your eyes on it. It's just not quite there yet. Nothing showing there. Consumer discretionary. Let's see, defensive. So look at Jets with the hard turn. That's an interesting turn over 2 days right there. Nice hard turn. And then there was some Boeing news or whatnot. I mean, read up on that. I saw Wall Street Engine posting a lot about airplane stuff today. So just kind of check and see what that information was about. But Jets with a nice, strong, hard turn right there. And I know it had a good day on Friday as well. But XLP still increasing that velocity right here. So that's interesting because it didn't have a great day today. It didn't have a terrible day compared to some sectors, but it wasn't great. RTH, Vanek Retail ETF had a decent day today, but TAN coming across. So that's not good for XLE. XLC and XLY still not showing any kind of an attempt to turn up right now. Boy, I guess we're all waiting on PCE on Friday, maybe. Not seeing much there. Yeah, there's just not. I mean, when you look at it like that, there's just not much there. Yeah, that's all there is to say about that. Let me bring up Traders Lab. Let's get a little overview of that. See what we got here. So this is all based sort of on the daily. So we're in basically when you read across the top, this kind of tells you where you're at. And we're in an uptrend attempt basically across the top. We're rallying on the QQE equal weight, but we're in an uptrend attempt here. On the rest of the guys, small cap even, so that's all good. Bitcoin, of course, struggling. Breadth a little weak on the daily. Took a little downturn, but overall breadth is up. So right now, advancers and decliners, definitely bearish. You can see that here. Red is bad, green is good. New highs, new lows. Put some in today. Net highs +4. It's good. So neutral right now, market average. Oop. Bullish on the McClellan oscillator across the board. You see that right here, bullish. Market momentum is bullish. breath extension. So we're a little extended here. You know, you won't find those dip buys down here. And right now we're a little extended still. We pulled back some today, which is what everybody was trying to point out would have been healthy for that. Sectors and returns, energy led the way on a weekday across the board. Utilities, very disappointing. I mean, just extremely disappointing, frankly. You can see your financials don't look good, but if you go down in and look at like Cree on the chart, it looks good. And we got some leaders. These guys are really starting to stand out. I mean, you look at them across the board, you can just see them trying to either break into all-time highs. You know, they're all close to their recent highs. Look at that. Every one of them. They're all putting in higher lows. And that's what you want to see. Of course, your Google groups on there, all that. And then setting up. This doesn't mean they're playable right now, but it means that they are sort of setting it up off of what he calls the 20 EMA structure, 21 EMA structure. These guys are all setting up. They're getting tight. In other words, off the I call it the cloud, 1020 cloud. He calls it structure. No, does he call it structure? I can't remember what he calls it. But anyway, let's see. And then let's go to sectors and themes. And we're just trying to build a case for what we want to look for as far as the pullback setups, low volume setups. And right now, we're not seeing anything really standing out, right? When we look through the relative rotation graph, we look through here. As far as stocks setting up, we've got a couple good group. You want to see several of them. And pharma, they're setting up again. Natural resources, CCJ is a course of interest, always is. Oh yeah. So right there, see that 20 EMA, the 10 EMA. That's So we got a nice little setup. Look at the low volume. Got a little low volume. Let's check CCJ. Yeah. Look at that low volume right there. Now, what I'd like to see is my relative rotation histogram going down, but it's not improving, in other words, but it's not. The copper just popped. Did it? Terrible. No. Yeah, they're starting to try to come up a little bit. We'll see how that plays out. Let's say they're just kind of flushing out the weak hands, as they say. Right. And they can have my weak hands because I already have my run. Let's see. All right, so get back to this. Copper, nothing setting up there. Leaders, steel production, ATI. Yeah. CLF looking. Yeah. Banks. So there's our banks. Oh, we got RF. So is this a regions financing corporation RF? I like the way that one looks though. And then TSM, of course, AMD. Yeah, they're starting to try to reclaim those 20s and hold them. Yeah. Right there. So we we've probably got a pretty good amount of setups. Looks like just not seeing anything like full on momentum coming, but it looks like we have a pretty good little number of setups on the Deepvue. Let's go ahead and bring that over. See what we got here. Before we do that, let's go through the routine here. All right, themes. See how everything played out today. So Bitcoin miners again up at the top. Casinos was a theme, probably LVS. Check that. Look at Donkey Kong. That's who was that? Was that Mystic? I can't remember who was saying what he's been talking about Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong, DKNG, DraftKings. And then well, I just aged myself, Donkey Kong from the 80s. CHDN, GLPI, SRAD. Hadn't seen that one in a while. It's interesting. Coming back. Oh, There we go. Casinos and then oil and gas, decent day to day. Semiconductors, that's a pretty good day. It'd been dragging a little bit, so good to see semiconductors. Yeah, I know. Semiconductors coming back in. AI, so we're seeing some growth starting to show up. Let's see what airlines we're pumping today. Trip. I saw yeah, EXPE was in a setup actually. Let's check EXPE. Yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that. Good volume. Nice day today. It's a little bit off the 1020 for me, but boy, it looks strong. All right. China internet. Saw some talk about that today too. Hadn't seen the China plays up there in a while. And to see them up there is good. Good for the market. Kind of like when Bitcoin gets moving, it's good for the market. All right, let's go ahead and check our next ETF review. Let's see if we got any ETFs setting up. Just gives us a clue on what individual plays might be. So we just flipped to 2A growth ETF. That's a positive. Low volume. Remember, we got Thanksgiving, but that's definitely a positive. Mid caps still looking good. Notice they're all flipping to the Sam Weinstein stage two attempt. It's a state. So this was 2A, this light green, and this is stage two. It doesn't guarantee that you get this move, which would be great, but it does. It is good to see that flipping green stage two. iDrive, good to see it back. So RMV of 0, it's tightening up. Inside day to day on the launch pad. Yeah, that's a good look. So that's what we want to see right there. Its price is tightening up. We got low volume. Yeah, iDrive, could write that one down. Tesla, of course, could be affected by that one. All right, what else we got here? RT8. So retail, with the Thanksgiving news, it's hard to tell if that's going to be sustainable. Pave, little infrastructure, drive. Again, if obviously if iDrive is going, IHI. No, nothing there. So these guys aren't set up. So the only real setups we have is these couple. And growth ETF, good to see. IJH, mid cap ETF, healthy looking. IWM, it's in a mini coil. So we got a little coil right here. Little coil right there forming. It's a little bit extended for me. And I like to play them off the breakouts, and it's not a breakout. But iDrive, yeah, iDrive's pretty much the best setup. Let's check that one. Neo, China play. ALB, Tesla, of course. LG, nope, 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 nope. So Neo, KRX, ALB, Tesla. So ALB and Neo. Huh. Neo's looking terrible. Look at post earnings too. Right there. ALB taking off. Good relative strength. We've got those are ants. That's Deepvue's version of ants. So we've got ants showing. David Ryan ants. Look at that relative strength. So we want to see a pullback here. And then of course Tesla, the big dog. Upside reversal, RMV. Okay, let's check that one on the watch list here as we're moving that way anyway. Ooh, MBIS. So we got some good, look at all those setups showing. Nice. So Tesla, RMV of 0, upside bullish. Oh, hell yeah. So Tesla is set up. Look at the relative strength to flip back upside. So basically anything through that level right there. Where's my right there, right through 432.93. So 433, and that thing's gonna take off. I mean, it's go right back up there. We got a nice 9-10% potential move right there. Low volume pullback, RMV of 0. You probably don't see too much RMV of 0. So these RMVs down here, I mean, they're probably not getting all the way to 0. But yeah, it's nice and tight. That'll work. All right, let's see what setups we got for tomorrow. Low volume. I gotta write Tesla down. Already did. That tells you it's good. All right, so what we want to see again is these guys setting up with that light blue and a bunch of setups, and we don't have that. We've only got 2 in their bios, which I don't like. But let's flip through these. So yeah, I think screwed up. Yes, we're not gonna worry about that. GSAT. Yeah, that's a very got double upside reversal. We haven't seen that in a while. And on a day like today, it's a great day to look for upside reversals, right? Things that really fought the market and pull back up. That's really strong right there. That looks good. GSAT, mags. See 2030's got something about MBIS with the call data flow. Let's see here. So mags. Boy, that's what you want to see. So the mag 7 is in an upside reversal ETF, and it's a little extended, so I didn't show mine, but that's pretty good. RV of 0. Yeah, right through that high right there again. All you got to do, intraday volume through that level right there, 66.78. So look at it, reclaim right there, that gap. Boy, that's nice. So good to see Mag setting up DOCN. I love it when one of the Stop Talk Insiders plays shows up on my screen. Look at that upside reversal right there. Would like it on lower volume, but I'll take it. Nothing wrong with it. Right there, DOCN, APH. Nothing wrong with it. It's nice and tight. A little bit extended for me. Don't like that relative strength. IBM, I mean, relative strength, a little bit weak right there, but again, nice and tight. Some tight closes in there. Definitely putting that on the list. CEG, haven't seen that one on there in a while. Utilities play, a little disappointed in utilities today, so this one held up probably the best. Bouncing off its 50-day, that's a 50-day moving average right there. Let's check the earnings VWAP. Yep, rising earnings VWAP. And keep it on there. I'm still interested in utilities, even though they absolutely crushed today. Hood is on the list. Oh my God. We can just take those other ones off, basically. Hood has not been on this list in a long time. And Hood is that's top watch tomorrow. That's a move back across 50, holding its gap up right here off the bottom. Uh, Hell yeah. And I don't care, relative strength, bad, whatever. And we know that regional banks, we know there's some movement in financials today. And that one can be part of that group, can also be a part of Bitcoin, which is bottoming out potentially. So I won't even say potentially, it's who knows? I mean, it could continue down forever, but biotech going to stay away from that. CCJ, we already looked at that one. That was on Traders Lab, was showing up as a setup, and I've got as a setup as well, right off that 50-day as well. And we know that one can really move. And Energy XLE with potential breakout coming in a few days. NVMI semiconductor, low volume pullback. Yes, please. Don't like that relative strength, but can put it on the list. CRS steel play. Yes, absolutely. Love steel right now. GTX automotive parts had a humongous move. So this is a mean reversion type setup. Boy, these are some good looking setups for tomorrow. We haven't seen this in a while. So I had a little delayed move. I think we talked about this one yesterday. But that little mean reversion setup right there, you can slap a VWAP on it as well. And that's not a good one. Let's put a VWAP that we like. Don't like either one of those. Um, yeah, gonna hold off on that. IDCC, it doesn't jump out at me. Laser made the list. What? So we've got two Stock Talk Insiders plays. We got Laser, 3 or 4. We got DOCN. I mean, we got Hood. Yeah, I mean, these are some good setups. Uh, Laser with an upside reversal. I love these where you get that little gap fill. I don't say it's guaranteed 2%, but if it moves through that high on intraday volume, it's going to push into this candle right there. Yeah, nice relative strength. Just flipped into stage 2A, Sam Weinstein, or 2, not 2A. TVTX going to hold off because we got some really nice looking plays. So I'm just going to just want to keep a hold of these guys right here. These are some good looking plays. Let me get perplexity up. Comma. Twelve. Oops. 2, 5. And setups. Save. Got to copy it. Hold on. Man, I forgot. Yeah, after I did over here on the other. Oh, add space. Got it on perplexity on the other screen. I'm just making a list with comma and a space. Man, that's the most Stock Talk Insider setups I've seen in a while showing up on here. Right there. These guys right there. Those are that's some quality names. As Stop Talk Weekly says, sexy names. There's some sexy names in there. Even IBM, just sexy old grandma right there. Let's see. Let's go to Stop Talk Insiders there. All right. So again, yeah, well, obviously these three are going to be on there. And then IONR got it. Must have earnings coming up soon. I got the flag on it. December 3rd is earnings. So we got a little pullback on IONR opportunity there and MBO. I don't know how I got MBO on there. I don't remember who stuff about that. But I will say again, you have to go do your due diligence and see what they said and if they're even tracking these plays anymore. I mean, I pull them and I just put them on there. I mean, you got to make your own choices on that. You got to read about them. So it's a pharma play, so I'm gonna kind of stay away from that one. So DOCN, Hood, and Laser, obviously, really curious to see how these play out tomorrow. This is gonna be really fun. Watch, see how this all plays out tomorrow. Before we run through these, let me just check real quick, see how gold's doing. Oof. Gold behind that 5. Silver. Oof. Copper. Oof. WTI. And NG. Natural gas. Pushing back a little bit. And then Bitcoin. Hold in there. See what you want to see on Bitcoin where you got a chance. You want to see that 5-day flatten out. You see how steep it is right now. And Brian Shannon, look at bounces right off of it. He always says this: don't trust a rally into a declining 5-day. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is a declining 5-day, a seriously steep declining 5-day. Like as in, it's going to take all night to bend that back around, even if price does pretty well. You can look at it right there. That's just not a great look. In fact, I mean, to be honest, I said we're in a pinch, and it is. And as you can see, we closed under the pinch, and we're bouncing off the pinch. I mean, let's go back and look at it. Yeah, geez. I mean, that's frankly, more of a short than anything. I mean, obviously it's down a whole crap ton. So, I mean, you know, but let's check our setups. Let's finish up here. All right. So GSAT. Oh yeah, we got a nice flag. Good relative rotation. And then when you think about how the market performed today, so look how strong this is. This is a wonderful example. That hammer it just put in. See that gap? So it gapped down and then immediately got bought up the rest of the day and came back and closed to fill the gap. That's an extremely bullish sign. That's what that yellow highlight is for me. So um, it immediately got bought back up and pushed over. It did not come close to this is the 20 EMA down here on the bottom, and it didn't even come close to it. That's extremely strong by GSAT. Really looks good. Nice oops reversal. No, that's bullish. Now you want to see 3 to 5 weeks in most flags, and we don't have that. So maybe it's a little early, but look at that freaking volume. I mean, that's pretty. That's what you want to see. The mags. I mean, we're not seeing accumulation volume. There's just a low volume day on a Monday. So they didn't sell off. So the big boys that hold mags, Magnificent Seven ETF, they didn't sell off. You can see that up here on the 5 day. Look how price didn't even come back to that 5 day today. So nobody was selling this off, in my opinion. And that's a bullish sign. Now, DOCN, I will say it dropped below. It did fill the gap, but notice we're at the bottom of the 20 EMA. You can argue that was a reclaim, and so that's bullish, and it is. It technically, as you can see right here, reclaimed the 20 EMA. So that is basically a little flush right there. And is this the last one? And then now it takes off. So now you're getting into sort of Wyckoff theory. And is this, was this a spring right here? And it hasn't been enough time yet. You'll see it when it happens. But this 50 EMA moving average coming to catch up. I don't know. I mean, it could just continue to range right here all the way down. It doesn't look like it's had enough accumulation, in my opinion. But that's a bullish reclaim right there. The 20. You see the strong finish right there. Look at the volume. Looks good. That's some good looking setups for more, man. Really is. IBM. I mean, there's sexy names, and we haven't been able to say that for a while. So IBM, low volume pullback, just traditional. Look at the volume dry up. And I know we had Thanksgiving, but we saw a lot of stocks catching volume. And this is beautiful right here. See that right there? That's perfect. A 5 day rising 5 day coming through that 1020 cloud. Price comes and meets it and bounces. They're snatching it up. Look at the damn volume at the end of the day come in on IBM right there. That looks good. There's several, and I can't believe Hood's on there. I can't wait to get to that one. CEG, after a beautiful run, nice structure break. Now it's forming another basing area. Earnings response was tepid. Not the best looking volume down in here, but it's coming off a low volume dry up. And I still like utilities. They had a tough day today, but this one looking good for potential move. And Hood, let's see what we got here. See that 5 day again coming through that 1020 cloud. So we're getting close to getting that flip right there, right here. Get close to getting that flip. Nice volume right here. Love how it held the gap today. Yeah, I mean, through the high of the day, puts you back above the 50, which is always a good thing. And I mean, you can just trace Hood regardless of in its history, really any stock, a move through the 50 is usually a good thing. And frankly, I mean, from here on out, it's been the 50 day. It doesn't really close below it. Where does it close below? Okay, recently. And came down to the 30, this is the 30-week moving average, which is historically where major institutions come in and buy in stocks like these. This is kind of that theory where they'll say if you all you did was buy quality stocks off the 200-day moving average, which is this cyan line right here, and the 30-week moving average, you would be a rich man. Well, there you go. There's your 30-week. There's your 30-week. I mean, that's it. It was riding the 30 the whole time. I'm not gonna go back all the way back. Everybody knows Hood's story, but that's good. And then now it's holding that gap up. CCJ, price is a little bouncy in here, a little erratic. You can see this obvious key level though right here. Prior drawn line, love when that happens. So move through that high of the day, puts it back above 89. It's coming off the 50-day, so it reclaimed it, bouncing off the 50-day, had a distribution day. I mean dividend day, and holding that earnings VWAP. Yeah. So here's our earnings VWAP, and you can see it right here. It's starting to turn up. So this is nice. You got the earnings VWAP, the 50-day. You got a little power 3 type scenario setting up right there. Almost pulled power 3 today if it had opened down here and pushed up, closed above all the averages. So it's not quite one, but indecision candle really on CCJ. Got highest volume within a year. Volume dry up. I like it. NVMI, and something about CCJ also, I'll say, the military metals or whatever you call them. If you look at something like, let's look at something like UUU. Let's see how they're performing. Not great today. And this one's performing well. UEC. Yeah. And then you look at CCJ. So is it potentially going to be the leader on the move up? Is my point. Is it the first one getting ready? We'll find out tomorrow. NVMI. Electronics. I don't like this one. Had that gap down off of earnings. CRS. I mean, this thing has come so far from so far back. I mean, it's just been amazing. And so it gets my respect, and I put it on there. Again, other metals kind of, are we seeing the beginning, and is it CRS and CCJ that are going to lead that way? And then laser, of course, with the gap down. And I just think there's room. There's 2% right there. It's a good chance to get in laser right there. Look at that 5-day coming through the 10-20 cloud. These are the best setups. And the only thing I don't like about them is they're not really like, there's not like one group. I guess you could say like the mags and IBM are together. You could say CCJ and CRS are together, but you want to see that proliferation of setups. That's not what we're seeing by groups or theme right there. But these guys could be the new leaders coming out of here on this little move. I mean, we'll see how it plays out. But these are quality names with quality low volume setups for tomorrow. So definitely going to be focused for me tomorrow. All right, that's it, guys. Appreciate you coming out. I'll get this posted as soon as I get the recording downloaded. Thank you.